Each morning, a new man waited outside her golden door. The tower stood at the edge of the city, taller than most buildings, but quiet, as if it did not want attention. Its walls were smooth and pale, catching the sun in a soft glow. People walked past it every day, but they never stopped. The tower was old, older than the city itself, and most people preferred not to think about it. Inside the tower lived a woman named Alin. She lived alone. Alin woke up before sunrise, as she always did. The room was silent, except for the low hum of the tower's systems. She did not need an alarm. Her body always knew when morning was close. She sat up slowly and looked toward the wall that showed the outside view. The city was still half asleep. Lights blinked on and off. Transport lines were quiet. The sky was pale blue, just starting to change. Her eyes moved, not to the city, but downward, to the door. The golden door stood at the base of the tower. It was large, smooth, and without a handle. No marks, no locks, no visible way to open it. It had been there longer than any living person could remember, and as always, someone was standing in front of it. A man. He stood straight, hands at his sides, facing the door. He wore simple clothes, nothing that marked him as military or civilian. His hair was dark, his face was calm. He did not knock. He did not move. Aylin felt the same tight feeling in her chest she felt every morning. A new man. Yesterday's man had been older, with gray hair and tired eyes. The day before that, a young man with a broken scar on his cheek. Every day, a different one. Always human. Always silent. Never the same twice. She activated the tower sensors and focused on him. The system scanned his body, his heat, his breath, his heartbeat. Everything was normal. He was alive. He was real. She checked the city records again, even though she already knew the result. No arrival logged, no transport registered, no identity record connected to the area. It was as if the man had stepped out of nothing. Alin stood and walked closer to the inner wall, watching him. She had lived with this for years now. At first she had screamed. Then she had called for help. Then she had begged the city council to investigate. Now, she only watched. The man did not look dangerous. He never did. But something about his stillness made her uneasy. He stood like someone waiting for permission or forgiveness. She whispered, though she knew he could not hear her. "Why are you here?" The tower answered her with silence. Hours passed. The city woke fully. People moved through the streets. Drones flew overhead. None of them reacted to the man. Some walked right past him, eyes sliding away as if their minds refused to see him. That frightened her more than anything else. At midday, Aline tried again. She opened a narrow communication channel, one that could project sound just outside the door. She had tried this many times before. "This is a restricted structure," she said slowly. "Please identify yourself." The man did not respond. He did not even blink. She shut the channel down, her hands shaking slightly. In the early days, she had gone outside once. She still remembered that morning clearly. She had been younger then, less careful. When she opened the outer barrier and stepped toward the door, the man had turned his head and looked at her. Only once. His eyes had been full of something she could not name. Not anger. Not fear. Something heavier. She had retreated and sealed the tower. She had never gone outside again. As the sun lowered, Alan noticed something different. The man shifted. It was small, barely noticeable. He raised his head slightly, as if listening. Then, for the first time in months, he spoke. Ah, ah, ah. Her breath caught in her throat. The system confirmed it. He had spoken her name. She activated the sound channel again, her heart pounding. "How do you know my name?" she asked. The man looked straight at the door now. His voice was calm, steady. "You were told to stay inside," he said. Her hands tightened into fists. "Who are you?" There was a pause. A long one. "I was a soldier," he said. "Long ago." "That is not possible," Alin said. "This colony is only 100 years old." The man smiled faintly. "I did not die here." Cold spread through her chest. The sensors began to alert her. Something in his genetic structure was changing, unfolding in ways modern science did not allow. She pulled old files, forgotten ones, sealed under the tower's deepest permissions. Her eyes widened as the match appeared. A soldier from humanity's first expansion war, recorded dead over 300 years ago. Same genetic code, same face, same bone structure. Her voice came out as a whisper. "You are dead." "Yes," the man said. "I know." The light around him flickered. The air bent slightly, like heat rising from stone. Alin stepped back, fear rising fast. "What do you want?" she asked. The man looked at the door again, not at her. "To make sure you do not open it too early," he said. Her heart slammed hard. "Too early for what?" He did not answer. The sun touched the edge of the horizon. As always, the man began to fade. His body lost shape, light passing through him. Before he vanished, he spoke one last time. "Tomorrow will be harder." Then he was gone. The space in front of the golden door was empty again. Alin sank to the floor, her legs weak. The tower hummed softly, as if nothing had happened. She stared at the door. For the first time, she noticed something new. A thin line of light, faint and pulsing, running across its surface. Something inside had noticed the man, and it was waking up. The next morning, Alin woke earlier than usual. The sky had a pale pink glow that barely reached the golden tower. Her body was tense, her mind restless. She could not stop thinking about the man from yesterday, the soldier who had died centuries ago, yet had appeared in front of her door. His words haunted her. "Tomorrow will be harder." She checked the sensors. The city was waking slowly. Ships moved along the far transport lines. People went about their routines. None of them seemed to notice the tower. But she did not look at them. She only looked at the door. When the sun finally rose, she saw him, or rather, someone else. The man standing in front of the golden door was different, younger. His clothes were simple, light-colored and clean. His face was calm, his eyes clear and focused. He was human, like all the others. But there was a difference. He carried something. A small box, sealed, with no markings. Alan's hand trembled as she activated the tower's analysis systems. The man was real. His heartbeat, his breath, his blood, all normal. No implants, no unusual genes. But he was not registered anywhere. No transport records, no identity data. Nothing. He had appeared here like the soldier yesterday, out of nothing. She watched him for hours. Unlike the soldier, he did not speak. He only held the box carefully in front of him. When he moved, it was slow, deliberate. Every step measured, every breath controlled. Alin's mind raced. Why was he here? Why did they all appear without warning? And why did they never try to open the door? She remembered the soldier's words, to make sure you do not open it too early. The woman's friend, Taryn, a researcher from the city archives, had offered to help before. She contacted him again, even though she hated to admit she needed help. "Taryn, you have to see this," she said, her voice low over the secure channel. "Another man at the door. He's holding a box. No records. Nothing. It's impossible." Taryn's voice sounded calm but concerned. "Impossible is the word I've been using for years with your tower, Aline. I will come, but you must not open the door under any circumstances." She nodded, though he could not see her. "I know. I won't." But something is changing. The air feels different. Taryn arrived a few hours later, using the discreet shuttle that had been approved to reach the tower. He brought equipment to scan the area, measure energy flows, and record any unusual patterns. The man outside did not move as they entered. He stood still, the small box clutched in his hands. Aylin noticed that the sensors began to react strangely. Alarms she had never seen before flashed across the control panels. Energy readings surged, then disappeared, leaving no explanation. Taryn frowned. "He's causing interference. Not mechanical, not magnetic. Something else." "I've never seen this." Alan took a deep breath. It's like reality bends around him. Every time they come, it changes something in the tower. Hours passed. The man still did not speak. He did not eat, did not move, except to hold the box closer to the door, as if waiting. Alan and Taryn analyzed every detail. They compared him to yesterday's soldier and to the patterns of previous men. There was a rhythm. They always appeared in the early morning. They always stood in the same spot. They always left when the sun touched the horizon. But this man carried something different. Taryn frowned and checked the archives again. "The box is strange," he said. "I have seen similar designs in the early records of the colony founders, but none have survived. It looks like a container, but for what, I cannot say. Nothing inside matches any known material." Aline's heart raced. Could it be part of the door system? Taryn shook his head. "I doubt it. The door is ancient. The system inside it is old and automated. But this seems deliberate. Someone or something wants you to see it." Even as they spoke, the man's eyes flicked toward the door. His stillness suggested awareness beyond what humans usually had. It was not fear, not expectation, not patience. It was focus. Elaine felt the tension in her body. For years, she had believed the men were tests, but the box changed that. Now it seemed like they were not only tests, but messages, clues, warnings. Warnings. She stepped closer to the door, careful not to open it. "Why do they come?" she asked quietly, almost to herself. "Why now?" The man did not answer. He only waited, the box unmoving in his hands. Taryn placed his scanner near the man. "Energy spike," he whispered. "He's affecting the environment beyond the tower's systems. It's like he carries something that the tower senses. The box may be connected." Alan's fingers itched toward the control panel. The door seemed to hum faintly, responding to the man's presence. Lines of light shimmered across the surface, pulsing slowly. Suddenly, a sound echoed through the tower. Not mechanical, not electronic. A low, distant hum, almost like a voice speaking in a language she could not understand. The man shifted slightly, his eyes focused on her now, calm, almost compassionate. He lowered the box, but did not move away. Alan's chest tightened. She realized something terrifying.
The men were not sent here at random. They were deliberate.
And if the soldier from yesterday had been a warning, this man with the box was something else, an advance signal. "Do you understand what it is?" Taryn whispered. "No," Alan admitted, "but I feel it. Something is waking inside the door." The hum grew louder. The lines of light on the golden door became more visible. The box vibrated slightly in the man's hands. Aline stepped back. "We cannot let it open," she said firmly. "If it opens now, I don't know what will happen." The man said nothing. His lips did not move. His eyes held a strange weight, like he carried knowledge centuries old. Hours passed and the sun began to lower. The man moved slightly toward the door, placing the box on the ground carefully. He stepped back, still calm. Alan and Taryn exchanged a worried glance. "Should we remove it?" Taryn asked quietly. "No," she said immediately. "If we touch it, we might trigger something. We have to wait." The sun reached the horizon. The man did not vanish immediately. Instead, he knelt slightly, touching the box with one hand. The tower's hum became louder, stronger, vibrating through the floor. Alan's heart pounded. She could feel it in her bones. She realized that the door was reacting not just to him, but to the box. Then, without warning, the box emitted a small pulse of light. The door's surface shimmered, and for the first time, Alan felt a presence behind it. A consciousness, something alive inside the golden barrier. The man's eyes met hers, calm, steady, and full of purpose.
"You have to understand," the presence behind the door seemed to whisper, though no words reached her ears. "It is not a thing to be opened."
It is a responsibility, and you are the only one who can bear it.
Aline's hand shook. She knew she could not open it. Ah! Not yet. But she also knew she could not ignore it. The man stood and slowly faded, leaving the box behind. Aline and Taryn watched as he disappeared. There was no trace of where he had come from. The box remained, pulsing faintly, a small, silent warning. Aline looked at it and understood. She had only begun to learn the truth. Each man, each object, each day was part of something larger than herself, and the soldier from yesterday had been only the first step. She turned to Taryn, voice trembling. "Tomorrow it will be worse." He nodded, eyes wide. "I think you are right. And the day after, it will be harder still." They did not know what awaited them, but they knew one thing. The golden door was no longer just a barrier. It was alive, and it was watching. The morning light barely touched the top of the golden tower when Alan woke. Her body felt heavy, her mind restless. She had hardly slept. The memory of the man with the box haunted her. She had tried to study the object all night, but her sensors showed only strange readings she could not understand. The box pulsed faintly, as if alive. She walked slowly toward the golden door. Every morning it was the same. She waited, watched, measured. But now she could feel a change. The tower's hum was stronger. Lines of light ran across the surface of the door, twisting and pulsing in strange patterns. Something inside the tower had noticed the box. Then she saw him. A man stood outside, not the same one as yesterday. This one was older, his face lined with age, his eyes dark and steady. He wore a simple tunic, and his hands were empty. Yet the presence around him felt heavier than the man with the box. He did not move. He did not speak. He just waited. Aline's pulse quickened. She activated the tower sensors. He was human, real, alive. No records anywhere. His genes did not match any known pattern in the colony. Yet, somehow, he was familiar. Taran arrived soon after, as agreed. His eyes widened when he saw the man. "This one, he is different," he said. "He is older, but something about him feels older than time." Aline did not answer. She focused on the man. Something about him stirred memories she did not know she had. The soldier from before, the man with the box. Both were connected. And now, this one. The golden door hummed louder, reacting to the presence outside. Hours passed. The man stood, still as stone. Aline tried to communicate. "Why are you here?" she asked, voice low. "What do you want?" The man did not answer. He tilted his head slightly, as if listening to something she could not hear. The lines of light on the door pulsed faster. The hum became a vibration that ran through the floor, through her body. Then she noticed it. A faint shadow behind the door. Not a solid shape, but a movement, like the presence of something alive. She froze. The shadow was moving closer to the surface, reaching for the light. She stepped back. "Taran," she whispered. "Do you see that?" He nodded, eyes wide. "The door?" "It's reacting. Not to us. To him?" Aline realized something terrifying. The men were not random. Each one was sent for a reason. They were markers, signals, and the door, or whatever was behind it, responded only to them. The man outside shifted slightly. His eyes met hers. They were deep, dark, and filled with understanding. For a moment, Aline felt as if he could see every thought, every fear inside her. She stepped back instinctively. "I think," Taran said, voice shaking, "that he is testing you." Aline's eyes widened. "Testing me? Why? What am I being tested for?" The man did not move, but the tower answered him. The hum grew louder, almost like a voice. She could feel it in her chest. Something inside the golden door was alive. Something that remembered, something that waited for her. Then he spoke. One word, low and deliberate. "Key." Aline's breath caught. "Key?" she whispered. The lines of light on the door twisted violently. The shadow behind the surface moved closer, pressing against the barrier. The golden door vibrated under her fingers as if it recognized the word. Taran's face turned pale. "Aline, I think—"
"I think it knows you." Aline stepped back. "Knows me?"
"What do you mean?" The man outside did not answer, but she could feel it. The tower, the door, the shadow inside, they all recognized her. She was not just a resident. She was something else. Something made to guard, to protect, to hold. Ha 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 ha. Memories she had never had surged through her mind. Faces she did not know. Voices she could not place. She saw glimpses of wars, cities destroyed, humans fighting creatures from the stars. She saw herself standing in the tower, alone, always alone, always waiting. Taran grabbed her arm. "Aline, calm down. It's too much. I know, but focus. What do you see? What does it show you?" She shook her head. "I don't know. I see humans fighting, running, dying, and the door protects something powerful. something dangerous. The man outside took a step closer. The lines of light on the door flared, bright and blinding. The shadow behind the door pressed against the surface like it wanted to escape. Alan stumbled back, heart pounding. "I think it's testing me," she said again. "Testing if I am ready. Testing if I can handle it." Taryn nodded slowly. "Then we need to understand it. We need to know what is inside that door before it reacts completely." Aelin walked closer. Every instinct screamed to stop, but curiosity, fear, and responsibility drove her forward. The shadow moved faster now, pressing against the golden surface. The door hummed so loud it shook the walls. The man outside spoke again. "You are not just a watcher. You are a guardian?" Aline froze. The word echoed in her mind. Guardian. She remembered fragments, flashes of memory that were not hers. She remembered standing at the door long ago, waiting, protecting, holding something no one else could touch. "What? What am I guarding?" she asked, voice trembling. The man did not answer, but the tower seemed to answer him. The door pulsed violently. Light burst through the surface in thin lines that wrapped around the tower. The shadow pressed harder, almost breaking through. Taryn pulled her back. "Aline, stop! We don't know what will happen." She shook him off. Her mind was filled with images, memories, knowledge she had never had. She understood now. The door was not just a barrier. It was a system. Ancient, powerful, built to hold something humanity could not yet control. The man outside nodded slightly, almost approvingly. His eyes held centuries of understanding. Alan felt fear, awe, and something else. Responsibility. She was not just watching. She was part of this. She was created for this. The shadow behind the door surged, stretching closer. Lines of light twisted violently. The golden surface shivered, as if alive. Alan realized that the door was testing her. It wanted to see if she could handle the truth. She reached out her hand, not to open it, but to connect. She placed her palm against the control panel. The door pulsed under her touch. The shadow pressed harder, almost reaching through. The hum became a voice, whispering words she could barely understand. "You are ready," it seemed to say. "You are the guardian. You are the key. You must not fail." Alin's breath caught. Her body trembled. She could feel knowledge, power, and fear all at once. She understood now that the men were not intruders. They were guides. They were reminders. Each one carried a message, a warning, a lesson she needed to understand. The man outside stepped closer. "Tomorrow," he said, "you will learn why the system exists. You will see what it protects, and you will have to decide if you are willing to bear it." Alan nodded slowly. Her mind was racing, but she knew he was right. She was ready, or at least as ready as she could be. The golden door was alive. The system behind it was awakening, and she was the only one who could hold it. The man faded, leaving nothing behind. The shadow behind the door retreated slightly, but the lines of light continued to pulse, waiting, observing, alive. Alan turned to Taryn. "We are part of this now," she said. "We cannot ignore it. We cannot hide. I am the guardian, and tomorrow we will see what I am guarding." Taryn nodded slowly, fear and awe in his eyes. "Then we prepare. We watch. We learn. Whatever comes, we face it together." Alan looked at the golden door. For the first time, it no longer seemed like a barrier. It seemed alive, watching, waiting, and now she knew it had chosen her. The hum faded slightly as the sun set. The tower settled into silence, but Aelin knew it would not stay quiet for long. The system behind the door had awakened, and she was no longer just a resident of the tower. She was part of something greater than herself, something older than humanity, something that could change everything. She sat in the control room, staring at the door. Her hands shook. She did not feel fear. Not completely. She felt responsibility, power, and the weight of centuries pressing on her shoulders. Tomorrow would come, and with it, answers she was both eager and afraid to receive. But one thing was clear: the golden door was no longer just a mystery. It had chosen her, and now she could not turn away. The morning air was cold and thin when Alan woke. She could feel the golden tower vibrating slightly beneath her feet. The lines of light on the door had grown brighter overnight, pulsing like a heartbeat. She had not slept well. Her mind was full of fragments, faces, voices, visions of wars she had never fought, cities she had never seen. Yet somehow she knew they were hers, not memories from life, but memories from something much older, much greater. She moved toward the control room. Taryn was already there, pacing, checking readings, and running analyses. The monitor showed strange fluctuations, energy readings that made no sense, patterns that should have been impossible. "Aline," Taryn said, voice low, "you need to see this. Something is happening under the city. Something moving." Aline leaned over his shoulder. The deep sensors she had helped him build showed faint traces of movement in the tunnels beneath the colony. The lines were subtle at first, almost invisible, but they spread fast, like roots growing through stone. "What is it?" she whispered. "I don't know," Taryn said. "It looks like a system. Something ancient. Something designed to respond to you." Her heart beat faster. The visions had been leading to this moment. The golden door was not just a barrier. It was connected to a buried system. And it had awakened. Outside, a man appeared at the base of the tower. He was different from the others. Taller, broader, older than anyone she had seen before. His presence made the air heavy. The tower hummed louder, almost in greeting. Alan's fingers trembled over the controls. She had no choice. She had to see what the system wanted. The man did not speak. What? He held nothing. He simply waited, calm, his eyes focused on the golden door. Hours passed, and Alan watched him, studying his movements. He mirrored the pulse of the door's light, subtle shifts that seemed almost like communication. She realized that these men were not here to test her randomly. They were guides, signals from a system that existed outside of time. "Taryn," she said, voice shaking slightly, "I think they are trying to show me something. Something about the war, about humanity, about why this system exists." Taryn nodded slowly. "Then we need to understand it. Carefully, we cannot touch the door or interfere, but we need to watch, and we need to record everything." Aelin activated all the sensors she could control. The tower's walls vibrated as the man outside moved slightly closer to the door. The lines of light pulsed brighter, wrapping around the tower in patterns she had never seen before. Then she saw it. A faint image appeared on the monitor. A city, old, destroyed, crumbling under fire. Humans running through smoke and rubble, machines moving like animals, destroying everything in their path, and above it all, a shadow of a figure she knew she had never met, holding something bright and powerful. "The war," she whispered, "it's happening. It's happening in the future, or maybe it already happened, and it's reaching back to us." Taryn's eyes widened. This is impossible. But the readings, they match. The system is pulling information from the future, from other timelines. It is trying to warn us. Alin swallowed hard. "That's why the men come. The soldiers, the one with the box. This one, they are pieces of the future. Echoes sent back to make sure I understand, to make sure I do not fail." The man outside took another step closer. The tower hummed louder, reacting to him. Alan could feel the pulse through her bones. The shadow beneath the door stirred, pressing harder against the golden surface. Her mind raced. She had thought the door was just a mystery, a barrier. Now she understood it was alive. It was aware, and it had chosen her for a reason. The system beneath the city began to glow faintly on the monitors. Tunnels, chambers, nodes she had never seen before lit up in patterns. It was alive, and it responded to the presence outside. Alin's hand hovered over the controls. "I have to connect," she whispered. Taryn grabbed her arm. "No! Don't touch it yet. We don't know what it will do." She shook him off gently. Her mind was flooded with images again. Humans fighting for survival, cities burning, men and women sacrificing everything to hold the line. The golden door pulsed in rhythm with the visions. Then she heard it, not with her ears, but inside her mind. Words clear and calm. "The system protects humanity. It is not a weapon. It is a record of our will, of our endurance. It is alive. And it is awakening because the war is not over. You are the key." Her heart pounded. "The key? Me?" The man outside nodded slightly. His eyes were full of understanding. The tower hummed, and the shadow behind the door pressed harder, almost breaking through the golden surface. Alan knew now why the soldiers had come before. They were warnings, messages, signals from timelines that had failed, from futures where humanity had almost been destroyed. The system had reached back, sending fragments to prepare her. She took a deep breath. "I understand. I am the guardian. I am the one who must hold it. But what happens if I fail?" The man's gaze was steady. No answer, only presence. The tower pulsed brighter. The shadow beneath the door moved faster. Taryn's voice trembled. "Alin, the energy, it's growing. The system is active now. Whatever is inside is reaching out. It's testing you." Alin placed her hands on the controls, not to open the door, but to connect. The golden surface pulsed under her touch. The shadow pressed harder, almost reaching through. She could feel knowledge, power, and responsibility surging through her. Visions came faster. Humans fighting creatures from the stars, dying in great numbers, yet always surviving. The system had recorded it all. It remembered humanity's will, humanity's endurance. And now it had awakened to protect the future. Alan's voice was calm, though her body shook. "I understand now. The system is not for me. It is for everyone. I am only its guardian." The lines of light twisted violently, wrapping around her hands, the control panel, and the tower. The shadow beneath the door pressed harder, almost like it wanted to escape. Then the man outside spoke. "Tomorrow you will learn why the system must remain sealed. You will see the full cost of what it protects, and you will understand what humanity has already lost." Alan nodded slowly. Her body was trembling, but her mind was clear. She was ready, or at least she had to be. The man faded. The shadow retreated slightly, leaving the door glowing faintly, pulsing like a heartbeat. Alan could feel it watching her, alive, aware, waiting. Taran exhaled slowly. "Aline, I don't know if we can survive this. The system... The war, it's bigger than anything we've ever known." Alan looked at him. "We don't have a choice. I am the Guardian. The system has chosen me, and if humanity is to survive, I have to hold it, even if it costs me everything." The tower settled into silence. The golden door no longer seemed like just a barrier. It was alive. It was aware, and it had chosen its protector. Alan sat in the control room, staring at the door. The shadow beneath it had retreated, but she knew it would not stay hidden for long. The system beneath the city was alive, and it was responding to her presence. "Tomorrow," she thought, "tomorrow I will see it fully. I will understand why the system exists, and why I am the only one who can hold it." The city outside remained quiet. Ships moved, people walked, life continued as if nothing had changed. But Aelin knew better. Humanity's survival depended on her. And the Golden Door, the system beneath the city, and the men from the future were all waiting for her to understand. The hum faded slightly as night fell, but Aelin knew it was only resting. The system was alive, aware, and she was its key. And when the next morning came, she would see more than she had ever imagined. The first light of morning came slowly over the city. Aline woke with a sense of urgency, her body stiff from lack of sleep. The golden tower pulsed faintly, as if it knew she was awake. She could feel the hum of the system beneath the city, stronger than ever, running like invisible rivers through the tunnels and chambers she had never seen. Outside, a man stood waiting. He was younger than the one from yesterday, but older than the soldier she had seen at first. His eyes were calm, yet they carried a weight of knowledge that made her stomach tighten. He held nothing in his hands this time. He did not speak. He simply watched the golden door. Alan approached the control panels. The lines of light on the door pulsed in response to his presence, moving like waves across the surface. The shadow beneath the door shifted, pressing harder against the golden barrier, reacting to both the man and her. Taran arrived quickly, carrying sensors and scanning devices. "Alan," he said, voice low, "the system is growing stronger. The readings are off the charts. I have never seen anything like this. It's like it knows we are here, like it's testing your control." Aline nodded. She could feel it. The system was alive, aware of her presence. It was reaching out, probing her, testing her readiness. She took a deep breath and focused. She activated the tower sensors fully, linking every system she could access. The golden door pulsed in rhythm with her heartbeat. She could feel the pressure building beneath it, the shadow pushing, trying to reach the surface. It was more than a test now. It was a challenge. The man outside took a step forward. The tower hummed louder, vibrating through the walls, the floors, and her body. Aelin realized that the men had never been mere visitors. They were guides, markers, reminders. Each one carried knowledge, a fragment of the system's purpose, a piece of the future she had to understand. She spoke quietly. I know what this is. I am the guardian. I am the one who must hold it. I understand the responsibility. The man's eyes met hers. For a moment she felt as if he could see every thought inside her, every fear, every doubt. Then he nodded slowly, and she understood. He was not here to threaten her. He was here to confirm her choice, to see if she was willing to bear the weight of what lay beneath the golden door. The shadow pressed harder. Lines of light twisted violently across the door. Aelin felt the hum of the system grow louder, almost like a voice whispering in her mind. Words she could not understand fully, but meanings she grasped instinctively. Protect, endure, sacrifice, guard. Her hand shook as she reached toward the controls. She did not want to open the door. She could not risk that. But she needed to connect, to understand, to prepare. The man outside spoke for the first time. You must choose, he said, voice calm and deep. You can hold it, or you can leave it. The system will not wait. It will not bend for anyone. Alin's chest tightened. I will hold it, she whispered. I am the guardian. I will not fail. The golden door pulsed brighter, almost blinding her. The shadow beneath it pressed harder, stretching, writhing, as if testing her resolve. She could feel the weight of centuries pressing on her, the pressure of lives lost and futures at stake. The system was alive, aware, and it expected her to stand firm. Then the man moved closer. His eyes softened, but they carried warning. The system does not forgive weakness. If you falter, if you doubt, it will not protect you. It will consume you. Alin swallowed hard. She understood now. The guardianship was not just a responsibility. It was a test of will, endurance, and courage. She had to stand against the pressure, against the shadow, against the unknown. She had to prove herself worthy. The shadow beneath the door surged, pressing so hard that the panels vibrated violently. Alan felt the hum in her bones, the lines of light wrapping around her hands, her arms, her chest. She could feel the system reaching into her mind, showing her glimpses of the war, the futures, the humans fighting and dying, the cities falling. All of it was recorded here, alive and waiting for her to accept it. She closed her eyes and focused. She imagined herself standing at the door for centuries, holding the line, protecting humanity, enduring every pressure, every threat. She felt the past, present, and future flowing through her, not just in body, but in mind and spirit. The golden door pulsed violently. The shadow beneath it pressed even harder. Aelin opened her eyes and spoke clearly, firmly. I accept. I am the guardian. I will hold it. I will endure. I will protect humanity. The lines of light on the door twisted violently, then suddenly calmed. The shadow beneath the surface retreated slightly, and the hum of the tower softened, as if acknowledging her acceptance. The man outside stepped back. His eyes held approval. Then you are ready, he said. Tomorrow, you will see what the system protects.
You will understand the cost, and you will make the final choice.
Alan's hand shook, but her mind was clear. She was no longer merely a resident of the tower. She was a guardian chosen by a system older than the colony, older than humanity itself. Taran looked at her, awe and fear in his eyes. Alin, the readings, they are beyond anything I have seen. The system, it's alive, and it responds to you. I don't know if humanity can survive this, but if anyone can, it's you. Aline nodded slowly. I have to prepare. I have to understand fully. The men, the visions, the war. It all leads to tomorrow. I must face it. Outside, the city moved on as if nothing had changed. Ships flew overhead, people walked the streets, unaware of the golden tower pulsing with ancient power. But Alan knew better. Humanity's survival rested on her shoulders. The men were guides, warnings from the future. The system beneath the city was alive, aware, and waiting. The sun reached the horizon. The tower settled into quiet hums. The shadow beneath the door receded slightly, but Aelin knew it would return stronger tomorrow. The system was testing her, preparing her. She had accepted the responsibility. She had declared herself the guardian. But the true test was still to come. She sat in the control room, staring at the golden door. Her body trembled, but her mind was focused. She understood now that the cost of failure was not just her life. It was the survival of humanity itself. The system beneath the city was alive, aware, and it had chosen her. And when tomorrow came, she would see what she was truly guarding. She felt the weight of centuries pressing on her, the pressure of lives lost and futures at stake. She was ready. She had to be. The golden door pulsed softly in the fading light. The shadow beneath it shifted, waiting, testing. Alin's hands rested lightly on the control panels. She would endure. She would protect. She would not fail. The men from before would not return tomorrow. They had done their work. They had shown her the path, the warnings, the responsibilities. Now it was her choice. She was the guardian. The system was alive, and the final test was coming. Night fell over the city. Ships and lights glimmered in the distance. The golden tower hummed softly, alive, aware, and waiting. Alin closed her eyes, breathing slowly, preparing herself. She knew the system was watching. She knew the shadow beneath the door would test her to the limits, but she was ready. The golden door pulsed faintly in the darkness like a heartbeat. Tomorrow she would face the truth. Tomorrow she would see the cost of guardianship. Tomorrow she would make the choice that could save humanity. The sun rose slowly over the city, but Alan did not notice it. Her mind was fixed on the golden door and the system beneath the tower. Tonight, or rather today, she would face the truth. She had prepared herself, studied every reading, every pulse, every shadow and line of light. She was ready to accept what she had been chosen for. The golden door pulsed faintly, as if aware she was awake. The shadow beneath it stirred, pushing closer to the surface. Alan walked to the control panel, her steps steady, her heart racing. She could feel the pressure in the tower, a vibration that ran through the walls and the floors, through her body and her mind. The system was alive. It was awake. And it had been waiting for her. Outside, a man appeared. Not the soldier from before, not the man with the box, not the one who had guided her yesterday. This one was taller, older, and his eyes held centuries of knowledge. He carried nothing. He did not speak. He simply stood and watched the golden door, his presence alone amplifying the hum of the tower. Alan felt the weight of what was about to happen. The men had been preparing her for this moment. They had been guides, reminders, echoes of futures that had failed. Now she would confront the system itself. She placed her hands on the controls. The golden door pulsed violently beneath her touch. Lines of light twisted and wrapped around her arms, her hands, her chest. almost like they were connecting her to the system. The shadow beneath the door pressed harder, stretching, reaching, testing her resolve. Alan's mind raced with the visions she had seen. Wars, cities burning, humans fighting against impossible odds, lives lost, worlds destroyed, timelines fractured. The system had recorded it all, remembering humanity's endurance and will, and now it expected her to stand firm. She closed her eyes and focused. She imagined herself holding the line, protecting humanity, enduring every pressure, every threat. She felt the past, present, and future flowing through her. She felt the weight of centuries pressing on her shoulders. She understood now what the soldiers had meant, what the man with the box had shown her. The system was alive, aware, and it had chosen her as its guardian. A voice, not spoken aloud but in her mind, whispered clearly, "Protect, endure, sacrifice, guard." Alan nodded slowly, breathing steadily. "I accept," she said aloud. "I am the guardian. I will endure. I will protect humanity. I will not fail." The lines of light on the golden door flared, brighter than the sun. The shadow beneath it pressed harder, but then it seemed to pause, as if acknowledging her acceptance. The hum of the tower grew louder, vibrating through her bones, through the floors and walls, through the air itself. The man outside stepped forward slightly. His eyes held approval. "You are ready," he said. "You will see the system fully. You will understand what it protects, and you will know the cost. Everything else is now in your hands." Alin nodded. Her hands rested on the controls. She did not fear what was coming. She understood it was bigger than her, older than humanity, more powerful than anything the city could contain. But she had chosen to face it. She had chosen to hold it. The golden door pulsed violently again. The lines of light wrapped around her arms, flowing into her mind. Knowledge, images, feelings, memories not her own flooded her consciousness. She saw humanity's entire history, its victories and failures, its courage and desperation. She saw the wars that had been fought in distant worlds against creatures and empires beyond understanding. She saw the moments where humans had survived when all odds were against them. The system reached into her, connecting with her, merging her mind and spirit with its own. The golden door was no longer a barrier. It was part of her. The shadow beneath it dissolved into light, flowing into her consciousness. She could feel it now. The system's purpose, its history, its will. And she understood it fully. The first thought came clearly. Humanity was fragile. It had survived countless threats, wars, and disasters. The system had recorded all of it. It had preserved the memory of human will, human courage, and human endurance. And now it had awakened to ensure humanity's survival again. Alan felt a choice forming inside her. She could merge fully, become one with the system, carry all its knowledge and power. Or she could step back, remain human, and let the system act alone. She understood the cost. If she merged, she would lose her life as she knew it. Her body would remain, but her mind would become part of something greater, a living record of humanity. If she refused, the system would still act, but she would be powerless to guide it, powerless to protect those she loved. Her heart beat steadily. She looked at the golden door, at the faint lines of light still pulsing. She understood. The men, the visions, the shadow, they had all led her to this moment. She had been tested, prepared, and now she had to choose. She closed her eyes. "I will merge," she whispered. I will carry the weight. I will protect humanity. The lines of light flared brilliantly, flowing into her hands, her arms, her mind. The shadow dissolved completely, replaced by warmth and understanding. She felt the system entering her consciousness, connecting with every thought, every memory, every feeling. She was alive, yet more than human. She was the guardian, the key, the record of human will itself. Visions came faster now. She saw humanity's future, possibilities, timelines branching and converging. She saw worlds that had been lost, worlds that would survive, civilizations rising and falling. She saw herself standing alone, yet everywhere at once, guiding humanity through the dangers that lay ahead. The man outside nodded slowly. His form began to shimmer, then dissolved into light. The tower hummed softly, peacefully, as if acknowledging that its purpose had been fulfilled. The golden door no longer pulsed violently. It glowed gently, a beacon of hope, of endurance, of humanity's will. Taran stepped forward slowly, awe and fear in his eyes. Aline, what happened? What did you become? She opened her eyes. Not fully human, not fully machine, but something in between. Something alive, powerful, aware. I am the guardian, she said softly. I carry humanity's will. I protect what must be preserved. I endure, and I guide. He nodded slowly, understanding more than he could speak. The golden tower, once mysterious, once silent, was now alive with her presence. The system beneath the city pulsed gently, synchronized with her heartbeat. The shadow beneath the door was gone. The knowledge, the power, the history of humanity flowed through her, and she could feel every life, every choice, every victory and failure as if it were her own. Outside, the city continued its routines, unaware of the transformation that had occurred within the Golden Tower. Ships flew, people moved through the streets, lights blinked on and off. But Aland, standing at the control panel, could feel everything. She could sense the city, the people, the future, and the past. She was everywhere and nowhere. Days passed. Though time felt different now, she watched over humanity, guiding subtly, influencing events to ensure survival and endurance. The men no longer appeared outside the tower. Their purpose had been fulfilled. They were echoes, signals from a future that had already tested her. Now she was the link, the guardian, the key. She walked through the tower, though her body no longer felt limited by physical space. She could sense the energy flowing beneath the city, connecting the tunnels, chambers, and nodes. She could feel the system's will, its purpose, and her own merged completely with it. The golden door no longer needed to be opened. It existed as a symbol, a boundary, and a connection. She was the living key. Humanity could not see her, could not fully understand what she had become, but they could feel the results. Cities thrived, people endured, wars were diverted, and civilizations survived. Taran often visited, though he could not fully perceive her presence. He knew she was changed, aware of the sacrifice she had made. He understood that the Golden Tower was now more than a building. It was alive, conscious, and she was at its heart. Alan felt no fear, only purpose. She had accepted the cost, merged with the system, and become something more than human. She carried the memory of humanity, its will, its courage, and its hope. Every morning she watched over the city, the colony, and beyond. Every human life mattered, and she could guide, protect, and endure. Time passed differently for her, yet she remained patient. She watched the choices humanity made, guiding subtly when needed. She saw the mistakes, the victories, the small acts of courage that defined humans. She understood that endurance was not about dominating or controlling, but about surviving, adapting, and protecting what was worth preserving. The Golden Tower stood silently in the city, its surface glowing faintly in the morning sun. No one came to the door now. No one needed to. Alin's presence had replaced the echoes, the warnings, and the men who had once come to test her. She had become the guardian, the key, and the record of humanity itself. And every morning, humans woke, unaware that someone, something, watched over them. Someone who had endured, who had merged with an ancient system, who carried the past, present, and future in her mind and spirit. Alin was no longer just a woman in a golden tower. She was humanity's memory, its hope, and its guardian. And she would endure forever. The city moved on. The sun rose and set. Stars wheeled across the sky. Yet within the tower the golden door pulsed softly, alive, aware, waiting, and watching. Alin's presence ensured that humanity would endure, that no threat could destroy its will, and that hope would never fade. She was the guardian. She was the key. And each morning she watched over all, carrying the weight of humanity with quiet strength and endless patience.